We are live. Good afternoon. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world or whenever you're watching this. This is the Make More Placements show coming to you live from the Make More Placements Facebook community. And also you can listen to the recording via our podcast on iTunes or any other podcasting platform. My name's Drew Edwards and I'm joined by Terry Edwards. And
Hi, folks.
In this episode, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about the 3 beliefs that you need to have in order to charge higher fees in your recruitment or search business. So 3 beliefs that you need to have in order to charge higher fees in your recruitment or search business. So and the reason we want to talk about this is because, pricing, as much as we like talking about marketing and sales and systems and that side of the business, I think, one of both mine and Terry's favorite subjects to talk about and help our clients with is pricing. I think at a very basic level, it goes without saying that if you think about your business, if you were able to charge more for what you're currently doing, the clients you're currently working with, they all just paid you more, your business would be doing a lot better. It's one of the quickest ways to increase revenue because, although marketing often involves building a lot of systems in the background, although sales often involves either changing your mindset or changing the script you use and what you're saying. Pricing is something that, in theory anyway, can be increased or changed, overnight. It's one of the few places where you can get overnight results because you charging more for your services, all it really takes is a decision to say, look, next time you speak with a client, rather than saying your whatever your current fee is, you say your higher fee. So it's one of the things we love talking about the most, one of the ways we get quick results with the clients we work with. But I'll say it's the one area we get the most pushback as well, and the one thing that people don't want to do. So we really want to talk about why that is, and a lot of it comes down to their thoughts, their beliefs about pricing, about their fees. I want to sort of break down some of those, I guess, false beliefs and talk about the beliefs that you need to have if you want to charge more for your services. Terry, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, if you talk to any recruitment or search business owner and you ask them if they wanted to increase their sales, if they wanted more money in their bank account, if they wanted more money for their family, the answer is always yes. You then say, well, one of the ways that you can do this is by increasing your fees. Now that sounds easy, and actually saying it is easy. It's a simple thing to do, but it's not always easy. Now, one of the reasons it's not easy, rather, is because of the beliefs. Because if you don't believe it's possible to increase your fees, as an example, you won't do it. If you don't, whatever you believe is true. If you believe that all your hiring managers buy in price and price alone, putting up your fees then is going to seem like, well, there's no point doing it. If you believe that if you put up your fees, that you're going to lose business and have less business, then you can see what's going on there. So although all this is quite simple, but it is, I hope from what we're saying, you get the importance of whatever you believe is true. And the sooner you can acknowledge this, that's the first step, and then do think about your beliefs, the sooner you'll have the business that you truly desire. Because when you're setting up a business, you had an intention, no doubt of this, of having a profitable business and making as much money as possible. And intellectually that one way of doing it is by increasing your fees. But if you have a belief, well, if I've got lower fees, I'll get more business. There's no truth in that. If I have lower fees, I'll get my foot in the door. There's no truth in that either. There's no evidence to support any of those beliefs whatsoever.
Yeah, and I think look, the bottom line is the fee you charge, the price you're able to get from clients is heavily influenced by the beliefs you have about yourself, your service, and who you serve as well. So we're going to sort of break down sort of some of the 3 core ones, but just to sort of give you an example of this to sort of prove this is true. Again, we're going to have people listen to this from all over the world, but I can sort of say with some confidence that you're not going to be the most expensive recruiter in your niche, and you're not going to be the cheapest either, right? You're going to be somewhere in between, right? I can say that the vast majority of people listening to this will fall into that category. I remember that sort of a few years ago, one of my sort of mentors saying this to me, and it's always stuck with me. There are people in your market with less experience than you. You're better at what you do than they are. They've got a smaller network. Almost seemingly everything that you would argue you need to run a successful business, you've got better at, or you've got more of. Yet they're able to charge more than you, and quite often win more business than you. If you're a contingency recruiter working with clients, and when you're working on a job order, there are multiple other firms working with that same agency. Again, it's very unlikely that you're the most expensive agency or the cheapest, right? There's probably someone who they've agreed and they're willing to pay more than they're paying you. So the question you have to ask yourself is, why? Why is it so that some recruitment search managers are able to do effectively the same job that you do, often not as well as that you do it, and charge higher fees than you do, and your clients are happy to pay it? So why is that? And what we find is it comes down to, as we're saying, the beliefs, but quite often as well, your self-esteem. So I want to sort of talk about that. So let's jump right into it. So look, 3 core beliefs. Number one sort of core belief that you need to have is that you can deliver on your promises. You can deliver on your promises, meaning that, when you're speaking to a client, when you're speaking to a hiring manager or a potential client, and they're explaining to you what they want, what they're looking for, you need to have a really strong belief that you're able to deliver on that. I think, anywhere where you don't have that belief, or you're unsure, or you don't have that, unwavering confidence, you're going to struggle to charge a higher fee because something's telling you it's unethical, right? But if you've got that unwavering belief that what the client or what the prospect is asking for, you can deliver on that. You can deliver on those promises. That's one of the core beliefs that you need to have. Terry, anything you would add to that from your point of view?
Yeah, just go back to what you said at the beginning about the fee you charge is heavily influenced by the belief you have about yourself, your service, and the product that you serve. And you're absolutely right. It's been argued on numerous occasions that the fee that a recruiter is getting is merely a reflection of what they believe they're worth. And if you don't believe you're worth 30, 35%, or we've got one client that charges 42%, then it's almost impossible for you to ask for that kind of fee if you don't believe what you're worth. So this is why, again, beliefs are so important. So we work with clients who charge 42% because they believe that's what they're worth. I can guarantee that you as a recruiter, you've got a fee below which you will not go below that figure, whatever that figure is. And the reason being, at some level, there's a figure where you go, no, I am worth more than that. Client says to you, I want it at 10% or 8% or 5%. There is some figure where you go, no, I believe I'm worth more than that. So that's your lower level, but you also have beliefs about your higher level as well. And I think the other point that Drew made there about you can deliver on your promises. If you've got this belief, actually, I kind of awkward asking for 40% or 35% or 25% because I don't actually believe I can deliver on what the client's looking for. Of course, it's going to cause conflict within you because that's then it's calling into question your whole integrity. If at some level you're saying, yeah, I want 25%, but actually internally you're saying, I don't think I can actually deliver on this. So you need to be aware of what's going on there and what's going on internally if you've got this discomfort about charging a higher fee. Because if you don't believe you can deliver, what I'd say to you is you shouldn't even be having that conversation with that client. In my opinion, that in itself is unethical, to have a conversation with a client about doing business with them if you, hand on heart, don't believe you can deliver on it. I think the other point is, in terms of beliefs, is that you've got to believe that the outcome that you're going to deliver for your client far outweighs the fee that you're asking for. Let me repeat that. The outcome, and it is the outcome you're going to deliver, not the candidate per se, but it's the actual outcome you're going to deliver, far outweighs the fee that you're asking for. So let's say hypothetically that the salary is 100,000 of whatever your currency is. And let's say, for the sake of this conversation, it's for a sales role and it's for a business development manager at 100,000. And your fee is 25%, let's say, so it's 25,000 is going to be your fee. If you look at what that individual, that candidate, that business development manager in that case, will add to that business. If you look at the competitive advantage, if you look at what they're gonna a good candidate will add to their bottom line, that far outweighs the 25,000 that you're actually asking for in a fee. So it's about focus on the outcome, because if you've got to believe that what it delivers outweighs the fee that you're asking for. That candidate then stays with that client for, let's say, only stays there for 2 years, hypothetically, and adds conservatively an additional 200,000 over those 2 years for that business onto the bottom line. Surely that outweighs the fee that you're asking for. Or if you want to look at it another way, let's say you as a recruitment search business owner, and you're going to take on a consultant, and let's say the recruiter that's providing this service to you said, our fee is, let's call it 30,000 for sake of this conversation. Well, surely if that consultant joining your firm is going to be adding substantially more than that to your bottom line, it outweighs the fee that recruiter is asking for from your point of view. Does that make sense, Drew?
Yeah, it just makes perfect sense. So, and I think, look, one of the, I guess, mistakes or reasons why this isn't the case for a lot of recruiters is that it's not that they don't know that the outcome that they deliver outweighs, so they don't really think about it. And I think whenever we talk, or whenever, you know, we as business owners talk or think about pricing, we always look at, you know, what it means to us as the owner and what we're getting as a benefit. And I think we need to sort of detach away from that and look at, you know, what outcome are we getting for the clients that we're working with? And yeah, you know, as you said, if you go back to number one, if you can deliver on your promises, you're going to give the client someone who's going to add to their bottom line in some way. And that's the same in, you know, the vast majority of industries. If someone's bringing someone in, it's because they want to make a return, and you're going to give them that person who's going to make the right hire, is going to substantially increase their revenue, their profits, whatever it happens to be. So we need to, you know, when we're speaking with a client, we need to have that in the back of our mind. We need to be attached to that particular outcome rather than the outcome for us. Right. Yeah. So just to recap, number one, we need to believe that you can deliver on your promises. Number two, you need to believe that the outcome that you deliver far outweighs the fee that you're asking for. And that brings us on to number three. So number three is you need to believe that charging a higher fee is the best thing for the client. Charging a higher fee is the best thing for the client. Terry, again, do you want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, again, this is all about, it's all about beliefs. If you don't believe that to be the case, you're going to have a real challenge with this. But look at it. Just step back for a moment. You're the recruiter, and you've got one client that says, "I'm going to pay you 25% of the final salary for the candidate." But another hiring manager says, "I'm going to pay you 10%. I'm only going to pay you 10% for the best candidate." You as the recruiter, your role and responsibility is to create a business to be as profitable as possible. So invariably what happens is you can't help but do this. If one client says, "Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll pay you up front, a percentage of the fee up front, and I'll pay you a higher fee," then you can't help but give that client the best candidates. In fact, people would question your sanity if you said, "Actually, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give the best candidates to the client that's going to pay me less, and I'm competing with half a dozen other recruiters." So ultimately, the more the client pays you, the higher the fee the client pays, the better it is for the client. And it's not only believing that and knowing that, it's imperative that you're communicating that to your potential clients prior to them engaging you, so that they get the benefit of engaging you at a higher fee. Because if they don't, all it means is that the best candidate goes to the hiring manager that pays a higher fee. That's simple economics in anywhere in the world. Anything to add to that, Drew?
Yeah, I think, again, you know, sort of touched on it before, but we always look at the impact the higher fee has on us as the person, you know, charging, or person doing it in a sales position. But we need to think about the buyer as well. And I think sort of a core belief we need to have is that it's beneficial for the hiring manager or hiring leader to actually pay a higher fee. Again, for the reasons that Terry spoke about. But also, I think, you know, just in terms of commitment, right? For you to do your best work for a client, you need the hiring manager or hiring leader, or whoever's sort of involved in the process. You need them to be committed. answering your calls, giving feedback on time, all that sort of stuff. We need them to be along, they need to do this with you rather than you do it. You can't do it without their feedback, right? You need to get it at certain points in the journey. You need to get that feedback. What happens is, if you charge a lower fee or you work on contingency and charge a lower fee, you don't get that commitment from the client because they're not committed to the process. They've got no skin in the game. It's very easy for them to ignore your calls or not give you feedback on time or whatever, because in their head, they've got nothing to lose. And again, you've probably been in as a buyer, you've probably been in this position where someone's offered you something for free or for less than you thought it was worth, or less than it is worth, and you don't value it quite as much. When you charge a higher fee, they've got more skin in the game. Again, they're more committed to the outcome. They're more committed to working with you. So you actually get a better relationship with the client, which allows you to do better work, right? If you're getting feedback on time, everything's from the client's point of view, they're really committed to you filling the roles just as much as you are. It makes your job easier, allows you to do better work for the client, which means they're going to get their outcome even quicker or going to get a better outcome, right? So these are sort of important things. These are critical things for the you as a seller and the client. It's critical if you want to deliver on the promises that we said, the core belief. There's certain things you need to have in place, and I think again we always think about the fee from our point of view. So again, whenever we spoke about this, one of the things that have often come up is charging a higher fee is people sort of believe it's almost unethical. If I charge a higher fee, I'm somehow being dishonest or ripping my clients off. But I think, and again, it's obviously if you believe that and you don't want to rip people off, then it's going to be difficult for you to charge a higher fee. But I think the truth is the higher fee that you charge, the more you can help your clients, the more you've got the resources to help your clients as well. I think higher fee means higher profits quite often. And I think, if you're getting higher profits, it means you can pay your staff more. You can give them better software. Everything you can do with that extra revenue or that extra profit goes back into your business that makes your service better. Right? It improves your service, it improves the outcome again that you're going to deliver to the client. I think we need to be attached to that. I think somewhere along the way, a lot of recruitment search owners forget that or I guess don't believe that, and so I think it's in some way unethical. Terry, have you sort of?
It's funny enough, I had a conversation with somebody probably about a month ago on this very subject, and he said just that charging. His argument was, I work from home, so charging any more than 10% is what he charges is unethical. And the question I asked him is, are you happy with the performance to date of your business? And he said, no, I want more money. I said, well, it's quite simple what you need to do. But he would fight against that, saying that, charge any more than 10% because I work from home, my overheads are low, so I don't need to. And of course, he's unhappy with where his business is. And all the things that we talked about there about his self-worth and everything else is coming to play and stopping him from charging more than that. But he's got to say what he said to justify what he's doing. See, we never do anything unless we can justify why we've done it, because when we do it, we believe it's the right thing to do at that time. So I can almost understand why he's saying what he's saying, but it's not, his belief isn't serving him at the end of the day, because he's unhappy with what he's generating overall. I don't mind saying his average placement fee is 4,000. And he's doing just over 100,000 a year now. He wants to double that, but it means he has to work twice as hard to double that, or he could simply increase his fees to double that, and for the same amount of work. It doesn't make sense intellectually, does it, to argue against a lower fee?
It doesn't, but people will do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, sort of always go back to it comes down to your self-esteem. I think you probably know deep down there's people charging more than you. Again, you look at some of the bigger firms, they're probably charging more than you. Are they doing a better job than you? Are the consultants that they like to have working on each vacancy, are they more experienced than you? The answer is probably not, or often no. Often no, that isn't the case. So again, for me, it always comes down to why don't you charge a higher fee? And then it always comes back to because you at some level don't believe that you're worth it. I think the point to add, and this isn't really a belief, but pricing is something we can talk about all day. Is I think when you're out there saying that you're the best recruiter, you're the best at what you do, you can give the best results, you've got the best outcome, you've got the best service, which I think, as a business owner, I think you should believe that about your service. At one level, you will never know if it's true or not, because it's subjective, but I think you should believe that about your own service. If you're out there saying that and trying to convince your clients of that, and then they're speaking to you, and then they speak to one of the big firms, for example, or speak to another recruiter, and your fee significantly lower, again, you've probably been in this position as a buyer. They're saying that it's priced low. So you do have the best service, and you want that. Again, it's one of the reasons why you need to be charging. Probably need to be charging a higher fee than you are now.
Yeah, and just to add to that, you cannot be good and cheap. Again, your client gets that, you get that. You can't say I'm the best recruiter out there, but I'm also the cheapest. It just doesn't stack up. And your clients won't believe you, by the way. If you're saying we're the best recruiter out there, but we're also the cheapest, intellectually, again, it's difficult to comprehend that at any level.
Awesome. So again, just to recap, belief number one is that you need to believe that you can deliver on your promises. Belief number two is you need to believe the outcome that you deliver far outweighs the fee that you're asking for. And number three, you need to believe that charging a higher fee is the best thing for the client. Again, if you want help with this, if you go to makemoreplacements.com/apply, there's a short letter about how we work. Essentially, we help recruitment and search owners make more placements for higher fees with less work and fewer headaches. And the short letter there that explains that in a bit more detail. So that's makemoreplacements.com/apply. I will speak with you again very, very soon. Back same time next week, Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. UK time in the Make More Placements Facebook community. Until then, take care, take action, and be relentless.
Cheers, folks. Thanks for joining us. Bye.